All right, we are back with some more Quake Champions. A few people liked the last video I put up, so I thought I'd do another one. I had a couple of nice matches. I've actually got a lot of matches recorded. I've been playing a fair bit. I'm really liking it. The more time I'm putting into it now, the more I'm liking it. So I'm definitely going to be picking this up and playing it religiously, I think, when it comes out. Incredibly fun. It's like a lot of people are still saying, oh, like I can't believe the microtransactions and the abilities. It's not Quake. But I mean, you've got to play it. A lot of the people that are saying this isn't Quake, like they haven't played the game yet. If you jump in, I mean, especially this map is like a hybrid version of the campgrounds, Q3 DM6. So it feels right at home straight away. The movement is Quake all over. Like the movement is so good. If you were someone that was comfortable with your movement in Quake 3, Quake 2, Quake World, whatever, like you'll move really well in this. I can understand people are sort of upset that you're going to have loot boxes. It's going to go down the route of microtransactions, but that's how the free-to-play model works. I mean, you'll be able to jump into this game and try it, and if you hate it, you can play it for no cost. So I really don't see the issue there. I mean, if you hate the game, don't pay money for it. But the people that are loving it are also the people that are complaining about that they have to pay money for it, which is kind of redundant. I mean, like, do you complain that you have to buy, like, Battlefield? Do you complain that you have to buy Call of Duty? I mean, it's a free-to-play title. You can jump in and play it. If you love it, you can then have the option to permanently unlock the champions by purchasing them. So, I mean, that's just how games like this are going to sustain themselves. But anyway, absolutely loving it, man. I wanted to sort of maybe do some videos where I gave, I suppose, some tips for newer players, because I've had a lot of friends are playing it, and it's like, it's not really their first foray into Quake, but they haven't played for a very long time, or they never really played at a high level. For a lot of the stuff that I do in Quake, it's just, if you've played something or done anything in life for a long, long time, it just becomes second nature. So I'm trying to look at it and thinking, like, what can I explain what I'm doing, just to make things a little bit easier. Like even just the way I move through the map, it's not random, it's purposeful. And you'll notice that sometimes when I'm in a fight, I'll move to a certain location or I'll move in a certain direction. In a lot of cases, I'll move to those locations because there's health bubbles there. So, like I said, for me, it just becomes second nature to be in a battle, and if I'm getting hit, getting damaged, I start moving towards where health is or where armor is and things like that. It's a big tip, is to learn the locations of items in the maps that you're going to be playing in this game. That's a huge thing. Your movement is something you'll just pick up through natural play. So don't try and move like an absolute strafe champion like in your first few matches. Try and get comfortable with the map layout. Try and get into your mind where the health is, where the armor is, so that you can always keep an eye on your current HP value. Always, when you're in a battle, be wary of where health is. If you see two bubbles and they're fairly close to you and you're in a battle, start strafing and start dodging towards those bubbles, and that'll give you an edge in the fight. They're there to be picked up. Don't feel bad about healing during a battle. There's no honor in Quake, man. Quake is go forward and destroy anything that stops you from going forward. That's what Quake is. So yeah, that's a big tip. Learn the locations of your health. Use them mid-fight. If you are in a battle and you've just won and you're weak, try and think about what your next move is going to be. So there's a nice health bubble there. You can push forward. I've already got a stack from Mega Health, so I don't need it, but keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind. Huge thing. Another thing would be especially in team games and things like that, power-ups change the whole way this game is played, especially in team games. Quad damage and Mega Health are something that you want to always try and control. And by control, I mean in a match like this, you always want to be the person getting the quad, if possible. Of course, it's not always possible to get it every single time, but it's not out of the ordinary to get a 10 kill or even a 15 kill streak with quad if you're stacked. Stacked means you've got good armor value and good health value, and if you've got some good weapons, pick up quad and pretty much, well, everyone will just be destroyed. But in team games especially, something to be wary of is keep an eye on your health value. In a lot of cases, better teams and people that have played will understand that, like, if you have 5 health, you don't want to be the dude to pick up quad. If you have really low health, a way to communicate in a lot of cases in these games as well is just to hang back a little bit close to where quad's going to spawn in a team game and just put a couple of shots into it. If you've got a lightning gun or something, just zap it twice, zap, zap, like that. And that will just tell someone, I'm not picking it up. And in a lot of cases, when you get into more high-level play, when you start verbally communicating, you start asking who's stacked, and you always try and get the guy that has the mega health on him, the most armor on him, and you get him to pick up the quad. I stood way too close to the teleporter there. That's an old school trick. If you actually stand right next to the teleporter, you've got to be at exactly the right range though, and you have the gaunt out. You can mash people as soon as they come out. It's really nasty if you've got quad too, but I was way too close. But yeah, that's just a couple of tips, I suppose. Just the biggest one I think for new players is learn item locations. Start using them in your battles. Start planning your movement when you're in battles or out of battles. Start thinking about where you're going to go. Don't just push somewhere randomly. So move somewhere, look around. Always try and be aware of your surroundings. It's a very, very big thing in competitive FPS now. Is situational awareness is king in these games. If you know what's behind you, beside you, in front of you, above you, you will do much, much better. But I don't know what else I can say, man. It's just something that I really love playing, man. I really love playing. And if it's something that I can put up on YouTube and people enjoy the gameplay, and maybe even when it comes out, I may even get a bit more serious into it and start doing proper tutorials, character guides, and things like that. Maybe even do like a movement guide. I'm pretty confident with the way I move in Quake. For people that didn't know what it was, when I talked about it in the last video, I talked about defrag. Now what defrag was is it was a modification released for Quake 3, and it was all about movement. It wasn't a competitive gameplay as far as killing other people go. You'd go into custom maps and they'd have sort of challenge arenas where it was almost like a puzzle map and you had to work out how to get through it. So there were rocket jump maps where you needed to use certain rocket jumps to get around. There were plasma maps where in Quake 3 you could actually climb walls using the plasma gun. And in defrag, all self-damage was turned off, so you could rocket jump, you could plasma climb, grenade jump, anything you wanted, and you wouldn't damage yourself. But some of the maps were incredibly creative and very, very hard. And I played that for years and years and years. I just got to the point where I enjoyed actually doing defrag a lot more than actually playing Quake. But that's how I sort of honed my movement, how I got really good at strafe jumping and really good at moving. And it really helps for just competitive play when you actually are fighting people as well, because being able to move around the map faster than the other guy means you can get to the power-ups faster than the other guy. It means that you can be like a hit-and-run style player. If you can just get in and get out and just go through really fast, drop a couple of rockets and be on the other side of the map, the dude will have been shot and he won't even know what's happened. So movement is a huge thing. But yeah, defrag was fantastic. I don't know whether they're going to have any sort of mod support or anything for this game. We'll have to see how it goes. In the age of always online and anti-cheat and all the etc, and things that they're a lot more serious with now, I don't know how it'll go for modification. I'd love to see an actual official tricking or a defrag mode added to Quake Champions, so there was something where you could just go in with some friends and maybe have some pad maps. There were these things called pad maps where it'd have just a single lane that you'd look up, and it had these like lily pads, and they were basically just pads, and each pad was slowly further apart. And the only way to get from one end of the lane to the other end was to consecutively link your strafe jumps and hit each pad with progressively more and more speed. So that was something that taught people to basically B-hop, I suppose is what they call it. I've always just called it strafe jumping, but I think they call it bunny hopping, B-hopping, etc, etc. But yeah, if you could get maps like that, maybe if someone could do some custom pad maps, or even if the company behind it gets in and says, look, we should support the tricking community, I mean, that's going to be really, really fun. Anyway, dudes, rambling, but some more Quake gameplay for you. I'm really excited to be playing Quake again. It is my absolute favorite game of all time, and I'm glad that I can share some videos with you now, man. I think I've been playing for about 20 years, no joke. I think Quake came out in '96, but I'm out of here. Enjoy the gameplay. If you want more, let me know. And until the next video, we'll see you later.